The NASA spacecraft, whose breakthrough discoveries about Saturn and its many moons revolutionized the search for life beyond Earth, disintegrated Friday morning in the skies above the ringed planet. It was 1 month shy of its 20th anniversary in space. The explorer's death was swift and deliberate. Traveling at 76,000 miles per hour, it hurtled into the planet's atmosphere shortly after 3:30 a.m. Pacific time and stopped communicating with Earth 1 minute later, according to NASA's carefully choreographed plan. Within 3 more minutes, Cassini's 12 scientific instruments were torn apart. Then they melted. Then they vaporized. An investigator to the end, the spacecraft transmitted scientific data about Saturn's atmosphere and the planet's interior structure throughout its final descent. Cassini's last signal to Earth was received at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Cañada Flintridge shortly before 5 a.m. "We left the world informed, but still wondering," Earl Maize, program manager for the mission at JPL, said before Cassini's fateful descent. "I couldn't ask for more." As NASA's Cassini mission flames out over Saturn, scientists mark bittersweet end of mission. Designed and built at JPL, the spacecraft was equipped with a suite of spectrometers, imaging radar and other scientific instruments. It was initially intended to spend 4 years studying the Saturnian system. However, Cassini was so robust and the science it collected so startling that NASA extended the mission twice. During its 13 years at Saturn, it observed the birth of mini moonlets in the dynamic rings and spotted massive hurricanes on the planet's poles. It also found 6 new confirmed moons and a number of faint rings. Among its most dazzling discoveries was the presence of hydrocarbon lakes and seas on Saturn's largest moon, Titan, the only other body besides Earth in the solar system known to have standing liquid on its surface. Full coverage of Cassini's grand finale. Even more stunningly, Cassini was the first to see great plumes of water ice particles gushing from fissures in the moon Enceladus, a find no one saw coming. After flying Cassini directly through the plumes, investigators worked out that the moon's frozen surface concealed a global salty ocean, probably warmed by hydrothermal vents at the seafloor, another parallel to Earth. Scientists now believe that Titan and Enceladus are 2 of the most promising candidates for hosting extraterrestrial life in the solar system. Thanks in part to Cassini, the habitable zone has been extended, said Andy Ingersoll, a planetary scientist at Caltech. "It's not just a band between Mars and Venus, rather, it includes an archipelago out into the outer solar system." In April, as Cassini's demise grew increasingly imminent, the spacecraft began a series of 22 daring orbits that took it through the previously unexplored gap between the planet and its innermost ring. These observations are already challenging the conventional wisdom about Saturn's magnetic field, atmosphere and internal structure. "Many of the things we thought we knew about Saturn have turned out to be more complicated than we had first imagined," said Linda Spilker, project scientist for the mission at JPL. Cassini was the last of NASA's big missions to the outer solar system. It followed in the footsteps of Voyagers 1 and 2, which visited Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and of Galileo, which set off for a deeper study of Jupiter and its moons in 1989. Maize said the spacecraft's success was due in part to the experienced team that put it together. "These are the folks who built the Voyagers and participated in a whole line of missions," he said. "They had a tremendous amount of experience in interplanetary spaceflight." Of particular interest to Cassini's architects was Titan, the only body in the solar system besides Earth with a nitrogen-rich atmosphere. Voyager 1 flew by Titan in 1980, but its instruments couldn't see beneath the moon's thick orange haze. It did, however, detect organic molecules in the heavy fog. This suggested that a complex chemistry was occurring somewhere in the moon's atmosphere that could mirror the early days of Earth before it had life. The late Tobioan, a planetary scientist at the University of Hawaii and a passionate advocate for the Cassini mission, described Titan as a Peter Pan world, potentially like Earth, but with its development frozen in an early